Party people, welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast where the gaming table is always set for two. I am your host as always, Jeff Stormer, and this week on the show I am joined by one of my legitimate favorite people in the world and the host of possibly my favorite podcast in the world, Tom Harrison, aka Anime Sickos Tom, from the Anime Sickos podcast, for a game of Rivals. Rivals by Arcane Atlas Games is a two-player PvP storytelling game about two people facing off in a final showdown, a battle filled with meaning, emotion, and the resolve to push past your limits and reach for your goal. Both players collaboratively tell the story of the climactic showdown between their two hated enemies as they face off, put everything on the line, and see who ultimately comes out on top. The game is completely setting neutral and can be set anywhere, anytime, any place, so of course, Tom and I told the story about two shitty podcasters butting heads, because you gotta write what you know. This game truly rules. I had such fun playing it. I really think you're gonna love listening to it. You can find your own copy of Rivals in the show notes. Tom is, of course, one of the two hosts of Anime Sickos podcast, a podcast for brain geniuses, and the only podcast about the four pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. Anime Sickos podcast, good. Podcast good. It's maybe the funniest podcast I've ever listened to. It's also sneakily one of the most ambitious podcasts I've ever listened to, a show that is unafraid to break the boundaries of its own format. They recently released a 6-episode audio drama called Sicko Shock 2, and please go listen to Sicko Shock 2. It's so good. It's so extremely good, and I want you to go listen. I want you to make your day better by going to listen to Sicko Shock 2. I was on an episode of Anime Sickos recently. We did an actual play. It was great. It's really fun. And I'm not telling you to go listen to that episode. Not because that episode isn't great, but because I want you to listen to Sicko Shock 2. That's how good Sicko Shock 2 is. Anyway, Anime Sickos podcast. Check the show notes for more information. Also, there's one crucial disclaimer I want to make. We recorded this episode before Post Malone announced a specialty celebrity deal with Raising Cane's. I just needed that put out there. Hey everybody, Present Jeff here with a quick statement that we stand in complete solidarity with our friends in the WGA and SAG-AFTRA unions as they strike, fighting for better working conditions and a better, more equitable path forward in the industry. We stand in complete solidarity, which means that we will not be taking or promoting any struck work during the duration of the strike. And of course, the best way if you would like to support the strike is by donating to the Entertainment Community Fund, which supports individuals whose work has been put on hold due to the strike. Anyone who donates to the Entertainment Community Fund can send me proof of a donation of any amount. I will send you an exclusive, secret, never released Party of One episode, as well as a digital version of any single one of my games, your choice. Thanks everybody. Solidarity forever. And with all of that said, let's go ahead and throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. I am genuinely so excited. There are the episodes that I'm excited for, and then there is this level of excitement, because this week I am sitting down with Tom Harrison. Tom, thanks so much for coming on Party of One.
Thanks for being so safe. Oh, can't believe it. This is the exciting one. How sweet of you to say it. I'm excited to be back doing another Party of One. It's been so long since I've done any RPG stuff.
It's been a while since we've had the last recording that we did. It was a while ago, I realized, and fuck, I still think about it very, very often because it is incredible, extremely good is the thing.
If I recall correctly, involved a world in which the powerful and strong were thus because they owned custom battle jet skis.
That is correct. That is correct. This was the world of Blood Diesel Ocean Blades. Yes.
Yes. Hell yeah, that was good.
Tom, real quick, before we get into the game that we are playing this week, why don't you let our lovely listeners at home know about anything you've got going on that you might want them to know about?
I've got a lot of things going on. I'm a podcasting guy, as you can probably imagine, on account of I'm on a podcast right now that you're listening to. I am one of the co-hosts. One of the hosts, there's only two of us, of the Anime Sickos podcast, which is the only podcast, and it is also the podcast for geniuses. And on the Anime Sickos podcast, we discuss the four pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. Anime, you might think, is the most commonly discussed one. Almost never. I don't think in a year we've had an anime episode. Anyway, we're very funny. We put out in late July. So one of our funny things is that we'll put out randomly, because we're a chat show. We're like a two white guys talking type of show. You'd think the lowest effort show that you could have. However, every once in a while we'll put on a fucking like audio drama play that's like extremely in depth and professionally produced. So we had done that a few times. July this year we put out Sicko Shock 2, which was a 6-part audio drama miniseries about a dystopian future where posting is mandatory, and 5 forgotten citizens of said dystopia banding together to take down this awful regime. It's very good. That's my take. Also, this is no longer ongoing. This show, Shuffle Quest, my RPG show, wrapped up, concluded, in fact, in July of this year. And it fucking is funny. We go on fucking RPG adventures and shit. Just look it up if that sounds interesting. I'm not going to do the whole pitch again. I'm done with it. It's over. I'm not going to do the.
You're free. You're free. You've achieved you've achieved what I have not been able to achieve in 8 years, which is you're free. You're free of the podcast.
You've made the fool's error that you did an anthology show, which cannot have the plot.
This
wrap
is
up.
true.
Shuffle Quest got one plot.
Fuck. Like, first off, I get to say this on mic. Anime Sicko is good. Anime Sicko's podcast.
Hell yeah.
God, well, like, and listeners, I am hearing about the audio drama. Like the unique time travel nature of the show means that I am hearing about the audio drama for the first time, and holy shit.
Yeah. We were really like, because I wanted to do another one, but I wanted to top the first one. And I'm like, how am I going to get to top the first one? Because I went all out on the first one. And then I'm like, oh, I know what's going to be better than making one audio drama. Making 6 audio dramas and releasing them all in one big drop without telling anybody that we were doing more than one.
That's fucking great. That rules extremely hard. Fuck.
Well, I'm glad you're excited about it because I've been long in that project hell where I can't tell if it's good or not anymore.
No, that rules. That rules so deeply and profoundly that like this is the energy that I am bringing into the game that we are playing this week. There's my segue.
Perfect.
We are playing Rivals, which is a 2-player role-playing game about 2 people going to war with each other. It is a game about like the ending of a legendary rivalry. We are staring each other down in the field of battle, and we are going to explore like what has brought us here, but also beat by beat talk through like what that final fight looks like. So we'll get into like the rules and things first, but the first thing that we need to decide is when, where, and what the vibe is of the fight that we are unfolding in. What is the nature of our rivalry? Who are our characters? Where you've got to kind of decide all of that. There are some examples in the book, but I have also been thinking about this a lot, and I want to know like what's on the top of your mind.
See, I was dreading this question because it's so open-ended, because the book is very clear that when it says fight, it doesn't mean like swords or guns. I mean, it could, but like it's so open. There's the box of toys is so vast that I'm so scared.
So here's where my head is at, and I want you to take this and run with it. The 2 things that jumped out to me, because I know that like the most fun options for me, the funniest options for me are the contrast between as big as we can make it and as small as we can make it. Like those extremes are the funniest option to me. And so like, is it funnier to tell an extremely small rivalry in the grandest scale possible, or a large rivalry in the smallest and most meaningless scale possible?
Oh God, that second one is a dynamic that I hadn't even considered. Like would an example of such be like the 2 emperors of like warring galactic empires, but the rivalry is like our cookie jar collections.
That's the small scale rivalry in the big context. The opposite is legitimately people who own novelty Twitter accounts just going for blood.
God. That's very funny. I do not think I have it in me to make believe Twitter drama at the moment. I was so like
understandable.
My sort of like go-to for like a small scale rivalry is like 2 HVAC companies that service the same neighborhood.
That is really funny to me, and like my brain always goes to that kind of small story, so like I'm perfectly fine going in that direction, but that is deep. The fact that like that being like a climactic confrontation there is very funny to me.
The issue here, I'm already seeing the limitations, is I don't fucking know enough about how that type of work is done that I don't know what the scenes would be, nor what my resources would be. So
I gotcha.
Be wary of that. But that's sort of like where I was at in terms of like, oh gosh. Oh, this is too much. I just had this idea and I'm like,
there's no such thing as too much. Hit me.
Fucking rival podcast, dude.
Why
overthink it?
I, as you were saying, I don't know enough about HVAC. Like the idea popped into my head, and like that is very funny, and pushing it in the absurd direction. I want this to be. I don't want this to be local, like guys in basement podcasts.
Yeah.
These are professionals.
Like Radio Lab guys, like Reply All guys.
Yeah, these are your like these are, you know, the people that got wealthy through podcasting. That's the rivalry that has come to a head.
Okay.
All right, this feels good. This feels very good. Somehow in my heart, I think I knew that it was going to come to this, and I'm delighted as I am, just like this is the only place that this could have ended.
This is why I was so hesitant to say it, because I'm like, God damn it. As soon as I say this, all of the fun play space we're working with is going to collapse into a little fucking star, and it's just going to be this, and it is.
Okay, so we've got now we're going to come up with our characters. The main things that we need are a name, description, personality, and a core ability. This is the main way that they engage in the conflict. This is how you start your dice pool each round. This is, you know, if this were a sword fight, this would be your sword or your fire energy blasts. Like, this is how your person like contributes to the fight. And so we are podcast. Here's the thing that I want to throw on this.
Okay, give me.
I would like to say, you know, it is easy to be like, this is us like making and I think that can be part of it. I also want to see these characters physically throw down in some space. I want this to be a fight between podcasters that has erupted into a physical fist fight.
If I'm conceptualizing the rules of the game correctly, there's going to be multiple skirmishes. It seems clear to me that things will be escalating from confrontation to confrontation. Thus, to bring it to physical blows is just the natural way of things. Like, obviously, it's going to happen.
I like that. I like setting that as a goalpost, and I like us escalating this. A series of beefs that escalate into we are throwing hands with each other is really funny.
I mean, and there's I don't remember any of their names because I never leave my house, but I know there are big podcast conventions, and I'm aware you were aware of that.
There are big podcast conventions, and the idea of one of those erupting into a brawl is funny to me.
It's gonna be.
So I gotta say, like, what genre of, even more so than just what genre of podcaster am I making in this instance?
Are you asking me, or are you talking through your
I'm
thoughts?
talking through it, but what are you thinking at the same time?
First I thought it would be funny to do like a Joe Rogan style, like, offensive bro comic, but then I'm just like, no, I don't want to have to.
Yeah, that's the thing, is I don't want to have to play that character, and I think that like that sort of musclehead character is already inclined to be like starting fights, and I think it's funnier to go with a character that does not feel like. Are
we thinking both employed by NPR?
That's funny. Yeah, that's really the idea of a rivalry between radio sponsored podcasts is great.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking
because this makes it a rivalry, not just competition. Because why we're on the same team.
We're on the same team, and we're not like driven by ratings in that way. Like, there's nothing there's nothing gained by us having a rivalry. So I guess my follow-up question is, are we in the same genre of podcast, or are we different types of podcasters beefing with each other?
I have to think that there is some overlap, thereby making the rivalry make sense, but also we cannot be exactly the same thing. Otherwise, why would NPR be producing two?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So my thought at first, and this is just like the basic idea, obviously it would be preferable to come up with a better one, is like stage for fucking theater podcast versus film podcast, something like that.
Yeah. So immediately, like, where my brain goes off of that is like a book review podcast versus like the film review podcast as it relates to some god awful cinematic universe.
Okay. The film review podcast is like specifically about the cinematic universe, or just happens to be all it talks about on account of that's what movies are now?
Which option is funnier to you?
How about this? Could the inciting incident be a review of a film adaptation of a book covered on the podcast, and someone thinks someone else's taste is just garbage?
That's really good. That's very good. That's great. I like that a lot. And I think, okay, that feels good. I'm thinking this through. I feel strongly about which of these two that I want to play. I keep coming back to this book podcast.
You can be the book podcast. I'll let you be the book guy.
One of the hosts of a like book club and wine podcast. It's like a chat show where, we drink wine and talk about the books that we're reading this week.
Yeah,
and we give insightful analysis.
Because honestly, if we're looking at the media landscape realistically, the sort of like highbrow, like high art type of literature guy, that doesn't sell anymore. But like, it's 1 o'clock. Let's log on to Book Talk and like read something real rip roaring. Like that's gonna get the NPR dollars.
That's it. That's the energy. That feels good. My character's name is, oh god, I was like, what's the first kind of wine that pops into my head? And every variety of wine just left my brain in an instant when I thought that
Syrah,
sentence.
Bordeaux, Malbec, Pinot Noir.
Wes Syrah is a good name.
God damn it. Yes, it is.
Wes Syrah is a good name. Wes Syrah hosts the Happy Hour Book Club podcast, which, disclaimer, is not something that I Googled. So if that is a real podcast, I apologize.
Yeah, it's parallel thinking. Great minds.
Liquid economy.
Yeah. You should be complimented.
Any similarity, obviously coincidental. That's it. It's, I'm the fun one of a Try Guys like group on the Happy Hour Book Club.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All of whom like get together and talk about the books that they're reading.
Mm-hmm.
And Wes is decidedly the fun one. I'm writing down the fun one in quotations.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your vibe?
So obviously, if you're gonna be sort of the populist man of the people, fun party guy, hosting your Try Guys style posse pod, I am Armistead Crestwater the Sixth.
Fuck!
And I am a deadly serious, very artistically inclined host of The Silver Screen, Cinema in Repose. I host this by myself, where I intone with great research and wealth of wisdom the history of film and what it means to watch the cinema in these modern times.
Fuck. Okay, great. So we've got our characters, we've got our personality. What is our core ability is the way that we engage in the conflict.
Is this just the podcast? Because I'm thinking, like, at least at the beginning, like the conflicts are going to be like us on our own shows responding to the other.
Yeah, I think that feels good, and then we can escalate that as we go. But yeah, I think that it is our core ability is each of our individual podcasts. So now we've got to come up with 3 insights that we share with the other person, which is our goal, our weakness, and our tell. I already have mine.
Okay.
I've thought this through.
Now, define tell. Obviously I know what that means, but just like, what does that mean in the context of this game?
It is not explained, and so like I take it to mean like the way that you can read that you have gotten to the other person.
Okay.
It is the sign that it is the sign that they are not mad, and you should not write in the newspapers that they're mad. Is how I'm interpreting it in my head.
I agree with that. Yes, that is the interpretation, and that's what it means. And as long as we both agree, it's correct.
So my goal is strictly social media clout. Pure and simple. I want to be TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, Mastodon famous.
You want to be the menswear guy.
Yeah, I want to reach a point where I can go on TikTok and just travel to different food carts. That's it.
Oh my god. My goal is to elevate cinema as an art form, not an entertainment form, an art form, such that I am able to use my influence to open a series of high quality theaters and preserve the production of film stock for future filmmakers.
My weakness is that the phrase I wrote down is I'm the least chill and most online.
Oh my god.
Immediately I escalate it to you can't follow Wes on any social media because like it is a third complaining about brands and tagging them on social media.
Like to see a Wes Serra post is like, okay, I have to become fucking Twitter PI. What the hell are you talking about? Who are you subtweeting? What is all this shit that you assume is well known that you're alluding to?
And there is so many tweets to piece together. Like it is a full-on Pepe Sylvia conspiracy grid of like, well, he tweeted this 20 minutes ago, but then 30 minutes ago he posted this picture.
Like people listening to this, you're probably aware of Tabletop RPG Twitter. You know how often you log on and someone's like, well, saw the tweet, can't believe it. And it's like, huh? What? Imagine that times like 100.
Imagine that, but like the person is like imagine the most famous person you can just tweeting that all the time. And my character's tell is that I am like deep on my phone. Like it's the Tim Robinson. I can go on my phone anytime I want.
I have no problem being on my phone for most of the show.
I will just pull out the phone in an instant.
I love it. Okay. So my goal, I said I want to open up theaters. These not these crass multiplexes with their low quality projectors. I'm talking real theaters.
Yeah.
And keep film stock in production. My weakness is man, I love gore horror. I could watch Evil Ted 2 every day. I love it when there's gobs and gobs of that fake glop. Mm-hmm. I love it when the blood's bright red. I love it when you can tell it's a mask. Obviously, in real life, I know that that's not a weakness. But when you're Armistead Crestwater VI and you host the Silver Screen Cinema on Repose, that's a weakness.
I promise I'm going to get to a point where I don't laugh when I hear that name. I'm going to try my absolute best. And what's your tell?
I mean, okay, yeah, no. I think my tell is just as simple as this. What, like, you can tell that I'm really fucking mad at, like, don't have any other defense when I start getting, like, very ad hominem type fucking snooty. Like, yeah. you have no taste. You are a Philistine, sir. You are, like, that kind of thing, where it's, like, to insult someone's taste and artistic intuition and knowledge. Because obviously, I mean, I love schlock too, but you love schlock, you fuck. You get it.
I get it. So now we're going to write down 8 resources. We're going to do this in secret, so we'll go quiet for a minute. I will edit all of this out. Listener, we're just going to appear in a second with 8 resources in front of us. These are things that we keep secret from one another that we use during the battle. We can use them once per game to add an extra d6 to a roll, but they are just things that items, knowledge, abilities that we have at our disposal that can provide an advantage during our conflict.
And it's, I mean, I know the answer, but like these don't have these can be like these aren't like physical things.
Yeah, they can be whatever can give you an advantage in this.
Okay. I love that. I'm not gonna write down gun. Actually, this is one that I do want to run by you because it might be like gaming system. Can it be like something that is explicitly in comparison to you?
Oh, for sure,
100%. Taller than Wes, except it's not taller.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. If that is a clear and decisive advantage and can absolutely be used.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Yeah, just like I don't want to, because it's kind of making a decision about you. But if it's fine, it's fine.
No, go for it. I'm all in. I think that's great.
Okay, I got mine.
I think I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 6. I just need 2 more. All right, I've got, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, I've got my 8. All right. Then with that, briefly how this is going to work. We are going to we'll set the scene for our first skirmish. As we describe our individual skirmishes, each turn we will one of us will take we'll describe the battle until we reach a point where we start fighting each other. We'll declare who our attacker is. That person will pick some of those. We'll pick some of those resources plus their core ability to make their attack. For each resource you invoke, you can add an additional d6. You don't have to bring in any resources. You can just use your core ability. Any resources you bring, you add an additional dice to the pool. You roll those dice, you add them up. That's the attack value. The defender does the same thing, pulls in their resources to try and defend. If you successfully attack, you fill in a clock. The first person to get to 6 pieces of their clock wins. That's the short version. We'll go into that piece by piece as we go. What's the first? We've already kind of talked a little bit. What's the start of our feud?
I think we have to have we're both reviewing the same work in 2 different medium.
Mm-hmm.
You are on your podcast, which I forget. It was
the Happy Hour Book Club.
Let me write that down. You are on the Happy Hour Book Club. You're reviewing a book. I, on Silver Screen Cinema in Repose, am reviewing its film adaptation. I think one of us has to rave. The other one has to devastatingly pan.
I am going to kick this up a notch immediately. I think that we timed the review of the book for the release of the movie.
Because obviously the book's profile has risen incredibly.
Yeah,
it was like a low. It was like a this is how you win the Time War type situation.
Right.
It was a middle selling book, and then it shot up.
And so the movie is coming out. We are reviewing the book for the release of the movie. This is. I am looking around my desk at this moment. This is an elevated superhero film. This is the adaptation of like an elevated superhero novel, not a graphic novel, like a prose novel. So it is, and it is like superhero as metaphor for personal journey and the falling out of a friendship, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Like if Hancock was better.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's going to be called, this would be really dumb. It's called Super, but all lowercase.
With a period at the end.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah. Yep. That feels great. And I think, to start the feud proper, because I love a good heel turn immediately. We included a segment on our episode reviewing the book where we talk about the movie for a long time.
Oh my God! Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So it is a both that our opinions of it vary, but also that like we have immediately swerved into your lane.
Yeah, we got scooped. I do this podcast myself. I don't need a crutch of a co-host.
And gosh, I mean, are you cool? Are you cool with loving Super?
I am cool. Whatever is the opposite of what you say.
Because this
I am
feels like a
fine
thing
saying.
that Wes would despise and would put no thought into why he hates it.
Yes. I love this. Okay.
This is nonsense. Like, I'm going to a superhero movie. I want to see fight scenes. I want to see quips. There were like no quips in this movie. It was all like heart to heart dialogue. Like, that's not a superhero movie, dog. I don't know if that's what I'm paying for. I'm gonna go to an art house theater and watch, I don't know, some black and white garbage movie.
Oh yeah, okay.
This is dropping the same day as your podcast.
And yeah, unbeknownst to me, I don't know about that shit. So I'm just on, the silver screen cinema in repose, saying like, yes, Super, a new work from astonishing young director Davis Davison. My made up names are going to be at that level. Sorry,
feels good. No, that feels good.
Astonishing young director Davis Davison, a real visual stylist, one of our last great visual stylists. In fact, takes on the execrable and ubiquitous superhero genre, but with an incredible source material that elevates what was usually a sort of spectacle schlock with very little depth into something truly fantastical. Because honestly, what is a superhero but a man? But a man like you and I, listener. And what would it mean to take on such abilities? These abilities, I mean, after all, what is our life? But is to utilize our own abilities to the best that we can, and to make the mark that we are capable of. Truly, this is a struggle that we all know. And in Super, we finally take this science fiction genre we are so unfortunately familiar with, and apply an emotional lens to it. In fact, the framing device of the comic book as the world in which he lives is so it's so interesting to think that it is both a film, and inside of that film is a comic. And then on the same token, we must also remember that this was originally a prose book. Why, it takes all these different forms in so many different ways. And one thinks about what these forms mean and what they allow as an artistic piece of expression. It truly is a masterpiece, blah, 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 blah. It's an hour of that.
And I think that you find out about this because, like, there is an audiogram of the episode posted and a quote tweet from Wes that's just like, "Oh, somebody's not gonna like the new episode." Hand over mouth emoji.
Oh my god. Okay. So you quote tweet the Silver Screen Cinema in Repose audiogram.
Yeah. With somebody's not gonna like our new episode.
Okay, so I've never listened to this fucking book club podcast, and I get a notification. I don't get any notifications. Do you have any idea how few people follow me? And I look at this and I decide, I guess I'll see what this is about. I'm curious. And I hear your dumb ass slamming Super because there weren't any quips. Oh, dude. I mean, I know this is your tell and your weakness, but I'm gonna take a front-facing video. This is my tell. I'm gonna quote tweet to you, and I'm just gonna say, like, so I just listened to the Happy Hour Book Club, and I have to say, well, I can count one listener who was not happy, myself, Armistead Crestwater VI, and as sure as my 5 most recent male ancestors were also named Armistead Crestwater, I call out Wes Seurat as a Philistine, a pig with no more brain than an ape. You think there should be quips in Super? I'm sorry, but when one wallows in the depths of human pain, as the protagonist of Super does, so elegantly portrayed, well, I would hope that you never find yourself in that level of emotional introspection, sir, because I believe you would find it very difficult to make a quip, but I do not believe that you have the depth of feeling in your soul to ever get to that place. So, in summation, fuck you! And I turn it off. I post that shit.
I think that's an attack. I think that the feud has been kicked off.
Yep. I obviously did not use, well, not obviously. I will reveal that did not use any of my resources.
So that's going to be a D6 roll.
Mm-hmm.
And I will roll to defend it.
Fuck.
I have, I've got two, I'm invoking one of my resources here.
Oh, tell me how.
Because I think that this is a stitch on TikTok. Piece by piece of this video, interspersed with Wes listening, and then Wes leaning on the table, and then Wes falling asleep. While one of my resources, my new single, Deep in the Bottle, is playing.
Oh my god. You definitely like do some of like splicing, like fucking Homer being like, I grabbed her sweet can from The Simpsons, like, I'm an ape, I don't have the brain, super, no quips.
It's bad.
Well, that's perfect, because I rolled a fucking 1.
Oh, great, because I rolled a 4, so it's not great. But I'm going to fill in one of the 6 segments on my resolve clock. If I, as the defender, successfully block all of your attacks, I get to fill in one of my segments. Otherwise, you fill in a number of segments equal to the number of attacks that you rolled. You can choose to, when you're building out your pool, I'll break your dice into different attacks. You can be like, I'm making 3 attacks this round. I can roll my dice. After you've declared that, I can roll my dice and sort of like decide how I want to break them up. It's sort of the attacker-defender relationship.
Yeah. The attacker must decide beforehand, but the defender has some
leeway.
Yeah, wiggle room.
Which means
you
that
can make
now
decisions after the fact.
I am now the attacker.
If you need me to do anything, just prompt me and we'll do it.
I know how I want to make. I'm going to use another one of my resources. I'm going to do 2 attacks here. Because this is a 2-pronged thing. One is that like we bring this beef onto our next podcast episode.
Oh, for sure. Yes, especially because you have a crew. You have the zoo crew.
We got the zoo crew, and we also have a special guest on this episode. I have tapped a close personal friendship of mine to talk about one of his favorite books. We've got this guy, I mean, we want to talk about superhero movies that rule. Let's talk about Hellboy. Let's talk about Hellboy 2, The Golden Army. I'm bringing on my close personal friend Guillermo del Toro here to talk about...
No!
I would like to, first of all, apologize to Guillermo del Toro, a director I genuinely love who's made movies that I think are wonderful, for being associated with Wes Seurat.
Oh my god, and this is perfect because I, as Armistead Crestwater VI, I can't be public with how much I love Guillermo del Toro because he started out making gory horror movies. And I have to be like, well, he's sort of a lesser auteur. Interesting production design. No, very often doesn't translate to a piece of cinema. But, what strengths one has, one must applaud. But, like, no, I fucking love Guillermo del Toro. I can't believe you got Guillermo del Toro on your fucking podcast to say Super sucks and I suck.
To be clear, I think Guillermo del Toro comes on the episode. I say that Super sucks. And, like, he gets the peak podcast guest experience of sitting back while the host does bits for 10 minutes.
Love it.
It's a whole lot of Guillermo del Toro going, I mean, I don't think, I actually thought that, okay, sure, Oh, commercial break? Great.
Yeah.
Is
that a running is that a running joke that you guys do? Oh, it is?
Oh,
I don't know what that is.
Cool. I mean, it looks like you're having fun.
Oh, devastating.
Wes does not register any of this. I have rolled my dice. I am rolling 2 attacks.
Wait, what was what was the
first attack?
Distinction between the 2 attacks.
The first attack is that we brought Guillermo del Toro onto the podcast as a as an esteemed film director. like it was a personal attack to be like, I know film. This guy thinks that he knows film. I know film. A good friend of mine is Guillermo del Toro. The second one is that I then proceed to go for 10 full minutes.
Okay.
I'm sure some like cinephiles must have really loved this movie, but like, I don't know, like, you know, if I want to be bored, I could like, I mean, I read books for my podcast, so I know that I'm going to have fun reading a book, but like, if I wanted to be bored by superheroes, I would, I don't know, read a comic book or something, like, you know, kid shit.
Oh, that's some bullshit. Not even my character wouldn't even care, but I care.
I didn't feel.
Oh, wait, yeah. What am I saying? who am I talking to?
Yeah, I didn't feel great about that.
Okay. So that's your. So I'm going to give my defense to this shit.
The podcast drops.
I podcast drops, and mine's about to later that day, and I'm going to lean on a personal friendship of mine. I'm going to call in a favor of one of my buddies. In fact, I'm going to call in a favor of two of my buddies. Because the first favor I called in was I got my close personal friend, and you know, we talk all the time about movies. We go see films together all the time. I'm really excited about his work. I got my good personal friend Martin Scorsese on the show. We're talking about, you know, how Davis Davison truly is an aesthete. The things he does with the camera.
I mean, there's finally a superhero movie that Martin Scorsese enjoys.
Exactly, because it's not one of those roller coaster rides, you see. It is a film. It has something to say. It is using the medium in a way that is interesting and moves artistic expression forward, unlike your Ant-Men. Excuse me, you call that a film? I call that a advertisement. Anyway, so I have Martin Scorsese on the show. And in addition, I have a feeling that you're going to pull some bullshit. So when I see this episode come out, I see Guillermo del Toro, I bite my tongue. I call my close professional friend, the head of podcasts at NPR, and I say, hey, Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon, coming right out. It's going to be one of the movies of the year. You got to really push this episode. This is how to be like our big podcast episode this week. And, you know, we just had a dinner the last week. He's friends with Marty, too. So, it happens. So, that's 2 resources I've used.
Great. Love that.
Does that mean I roll 3 dice?
You roll 3 dice, you can roll them and then decide how you want to pair them between the things. I will tell you, I rolled 2 2s.
Oh, fuck. Well, I rolled a 6, a 3, and a 3. So, I have absolutely wrecked you.
Like, the scale of that is humiliating for Wes. Like, to have Martin Scorsese come out and be like, this is a film I respect, and not one of those roller coaster rides, is obliterating. Like, that ruins. Like, that just the amount of attention that gets, that those sound bites from Scorsese get, is ruinous.
Oh yeah, I didn't even consider how like the clickbait mill would get months out of Scorsese respects a superhero movie.
Yeah,
can you believe it?
And you pulling all of this is just destroying. Like, that means that like you put me down in a way that like everyone is noticing.
I mean, and to say I think even the most unkindest cut of all is that by, you know, leaning on the head of NPR podcasts, it is as though you were shadow banned.
Yeah.
Like, you got low downloads this week, and engagement was minor.
Oh yeah, you have shadow banned me, and that is the worst thing that you can do for someone that is extremely online.
I love it. Hell yeah.
Fuck. Okay, that means that now you have become the attacker, which means that like, what's the next step in the beef?
You can cut this out. That means I have 2 clock pie pieces, right?
You have 1 clock piece because you were the defender. You blocked all of my attacks. You get 1 thing as you always get 1 as the defender if you block everything.
So that's the downside of my flexibility with my defense dice.
That you can only ever get one thing out of defense. You can get multiple out of attack, but it means making smaller dice rolls.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that because I was like upset that I was a third full, and I'm like, I don't like that. That's going to be over too soon. Okay. Now what am I going to do to attack you? Because I sort of am riding high off of my incredible ploy. I feel like it is clear that Wes Sirah is a sort of lesser artist and critic. Definitely does not understand.
I will say I have been going off on Twitter about this. It's not an attack, but like my tell is in play, and I have been on Twitter about this.
Oh, okay. Actually, I'm glad you said that because that is going to impel me to use 2 more of my resources. I hope I don't blow through these too fast. But what the fuck? What are they for if not to be used?
Yeah.
So I'm riding high and I feel fine. And then I get a text from my nephew. His name is Alistair Crestwater the Ninth. And
it's a long
says,
history of names.
He says, "Hey, Uncle Armistead, following this guy on Twitter named Wes Sirah. I've been really, really following his whole deal. I know all of the things he talks about. I follow him, and I think he's like really getting red and mad about you and what you pulled that Martin Scorsese episode last week." And so I open up Twitter. I rarely do. I look at the links he sent me, and look at that. You're on there. You're mad. You're sputtering about my episode. And now that I know this, I would have no way to know this if Alistair the Ninth hadn't told me. Now that I know this, I'm going to open a burner account. Anonymous. It's going to be called DaAssEata69. You would never think it's me. And I'm going to use my, who would have thought, preternaturally gifted trolling ability to just push the fuck out of your buttons all night. I'm having so much fun with this. I'm saying exactly, like, you're like, oh, this guy was, I can't believe this fucking fraud, this dusty old chess bitch thinks he's better than me. And I'm like, I don't know, man, downloads seem to indicate who's best in podcasts, and I think it's pretty clear who got more last week. Like, shit that really is designed to fuck with you.
Yes.
So that's 2 of my resources. My nephew follows Wes and trolling ability.
That's incredible resource. I am going to respond to this. I'm going to pull in one of my resources. How many attacks are you breaking that into? Roll your dice and let me know how those numbers break down.
That's a good point. That's how many attacks I'm going to break this into. I mean, I'd like to break it up tactically, but sort of narratively, I'm not seeing how these are two.
Then roll me that one pool.
So use 2 resources. Do I always start?
Yeah,
with
you always
one?
get your core ability, which is you always get your core ability.
Yeah. Okay, I have rolled my 3 dice.
I am gonna pull in. I'm pulling in one of my resources. I am up all night fighting with the DaAssEater69. And like it gets mean to the point where I'm going to say, because I have this resource that I am pulling in because I think it's really funny to do so.
Oh my god.
And using it as a weapon, I know exactly how I want to use it as a weapon. If it's all right with you, I would love to bring in your tell here a little bit.
Oh, please do.
That like some of your trolling, like it's that poster's mistake of like letting just a little, like putting a little bit of skin in the game.
Oh, you can't do that.
You can't put skin in the game. So like it slips like once or twice. So when I go onto my YouTube the next day and I record a 14-minute apology video on my YouTube, it includes a lengthy segment where I break down point by point that I'm pretty sure that this is you. It is one of the many tangents on this fully monetized apology video.
It's the first thing back when you hit the mid-roll ad.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
it's the rap, then it's the mid-roll ad, then it's the we have some fun, but seriously, I do have some things I want to talk about.
yes, I love it. I love it.
And so I'm gonna roll 2 dice. Oh my god, that is a 10.
I got my 3 dice all totaled up is 6.
All right, so that is a point for me on my clock. I've used one of my resources. And I am going on the offensive here.
Yeah, I think that when it's like 3 a.m. and I'm barely staying awake, I like break the voice and I call you like, "Sir, you are jejune and have a very you are jejune and have a stolid mind," and like that's you. That's me.
I got it.
So everyone fucking believes it,
and
because it's true.
I am going I'm going full offensive here. I'm pulling in one of my resources. I have announced. Actually, I'm pulling in 2 of my resources here.
Okay.
And I'm declaring this as 2 attacks because it is not just an attack on you. This is how full offense Wes is going in this.
Mm-hmm.
I have announced as part of this that the launch date for the Kickstarter for my self-produced buddy cop comedy is being pushed back a week or 2. And the reason for that, as I reveal in a video, is that we've done reshoots, including a scene where where my wacky buddy cop characters embarrass a snooty film podcaster.
No! No! Wait, you're producing a movie?
I'm launching a Kickstarter for a self-produced short film.
Fuck! No!
It includes a scene where we stick it to a snooty podcaster. It also
I'm gonna have to review that because it's a colleague!
It also includes a segment where Scarton Morsese is seen, pulling up his collar and walking into a Raising Cane's establishment and ordering the West Syrah branded a celebrity meal, which is my other resource.
Oh my god.
We had to do reshoots.
This is devastating.
And so I'm going to roll 2 attacks. One of them is going to be 1 dice because Martin Scorsese is going to be he's going to be fine.
Yeah. Oh my god.
All right. Yep. I've rolled one attack with 2 dice and 1 attack with 1 dice.
Okay. How do I get this news? I guess, the easy thing is, hey, my nephew, Alistair Crestwater IX, says, hey, Uncle Armistead, I think that guy from before is, like, spending his life on roasting you. And I'm like, huh? And I look and I see this Kickstarter update. You know what's the worst thing? Like, all NPR employees get, like, $50 anytime a colleague does a Kickstarter campaign, like on a gift card for putting into the campaign. I don't think this is how they do it, but wouldn't it be fun? It's fun for the purposes of this story.
Yeah.
I'm on the email list.
Yeah.
I'm a backer. And again, as I said, as this is my colleague's film for cross-promotional reasons, editorial, and I've already used up my favorites with editorial. Editorial is going to make me review this film eventually. So I know I'm going to have to interface with this. I can't ignore it. And I see this shit. And what am I going to do? What am I going to do to fucking stick it to you? Okay. I make a post on my Medium account where I usually write 20-minute long reads about
sure.
different types of lenses. I post a big long expose on West Syrah cultural pygmy. Is that an offensive term? I think it might be. I'm going to pull that back. West Syrah, a cultural ant whose brain could not fill a teaspoon. And in it, I'm going to drop an incredible revelation that no one knows about me. I live a very comfortable life as Armistead Crestwater VI. Many assume that this is due to inherited wealth, due to my being the 6th. No, we just think it's a cool name. My family has a history of poverty. We've never been rich, except for me. How did I get there? Well, all this time, I have been a pop novelist, writing under a nom de plume, and I write true dreck. I crank these out in a weekend. I do not revise, or these are first fucking drafts right off the dome, and like I have manuscripts where like I say at the front, like, dear editor, this shit's the dumbest one yet, lol. Wrote this in 10 hours. Anyone who likes this is a chimp. And as a highly successful pop novelist, I have footage of you, Wes Syrah, on Happy Hour Book Club, lauding the books of my nom de plume, calling them great, calling them some of your very favorites. You look, and I say he has the gall to attempt to lampoon me as though I was some sort of fool who is below him. Indeed, I am his idol. And I'm going to roll 2 dice.
Love that. Love that.
Okay. So, what were your totals?
One of them was a 5 and one of them was a 1.
All right. So I rolled 2 3s. So one of these attacks is getting through. I imagine I'm going to defend the one that impugns my honor, which is to say...
Fuck Scorsese.
Yes, Scorsese, as you say, he's going to be fine.
He's going to be fine.
Like...
He is dealt with worse.
Exactly. His work speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I'm a mere critic. My work does not speak for myself. However, with this staggering counter blow, your reshoots, it's clear to everyone. They look so childish. Like, really? You're adding this? This is not going to age well. This is going to be so dated. Anyone who watches this film a year from its release is going to know, like, this was probably some weird beef. I don't understand the context. It's so out of place. And then when they research it, like, what was that about? The first thing that's going to come up is, like, idiot Wes Syrah caught in a bungle. So, we both get a slice, if I'm correct.
Yeah. We both get a slice.
That's excellent.
And so you are now on the attack.
Okay.
I think to prompt you into attacking, you have received a text message from Scorsese's assistant.
Oh, fuck, yes.
That says, like, you gotta deal with this. He's not upset. He's annoyed.
Okay. So, I think my next... fuck. I'm like, I want to do 2 attacks just to like get this moving, but it would be stupid. But like, let's do stupid.
Just now is not the moment to say let's not get stupid.
Okay, so I start off in response to Scorsese's assistant. I am going to dedicate a double length episode. I had to get permission from editorial. It's not a resource. I'm just saying that for flavor. Get permission from editorial. I have a double-length episode all about the work and importance of Martin Scorsese to American cinema. I'm going to use my resource, which is my master in film studies. I'm really like bringing it all out. Like I'm putting on a clinic. Like this is all. I'm talking about all the fucking cinema words. I don't really know them in real life, folks. So just use your imagination.
Mise en scene.
Yeah, French shit, man. I'm talking about Bazin all the time. I'm talking about the fucking image. I'm talking about New York. What's it like to live in New York? I don't know. Fucking Scorsese shit. And like it is because I am actually educated in this and can speak to it with real authority, and like I'm interesting enough that I did get a show. So like it's not bad, and someone listening to it with an open mind would come out like really excited about like Martin Scorsese as an artist, and like that guy really is important. He is worth respecting. And then here's the dumb part. Here's my second attack. At the end of the podcast, I just tell you to like the big podcast convention, PodCon. That's a real one, right? Did that get canceled?
Podcast. I
PodCon.
think podcast movement is the one that
Podcast
is full of
movement.
shitty. Is the one with like full of shitty human beings.
Fucking PodCon. The fake one. Fictitious.
Fictitious.
Even if it's real, this is a fictitious version, and
Yeah.
the real one doesn't exist in this world. I say, hey, PodCon's coming up next week. West Syrah. After opening ceremonies. You know how cons have opening ceremonies? After opening ceremonies, meet me up back. I'm openly threatening you to, or challenging you to a physical fight. So those are my two attacks.
Okay.
One of which has 2 dice, and the other the threat of violence. That's just the one.
I am going to block with 2 dice. I am going to roll them. And I'm going to do the most vicious thing that I can do in this instance.
Oh, gimme.
I am no selling all of this. Specifically,
Wow.
I
Wow.
am revealing that this is the first of a exclusive miniseries that we have working through the entire backlog of Stephen King.
That's gonna be forever.
Yeah, I'm just like, whatever. It's fine. I am going to roll my 2 dice. Like I am
Wait,
just
what was the resource you used?
a mini series on the works of Stephen King.
Oh fuck! Perfect.
I am revealing that. Yeah, I'm unbothered by this. We're continuing on with our schedule, which starts Stephen King summer.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck. I really cannot even make this 2 separate attacks. I'm gonna have to block one of them because that is a 1 and a 2, which is a 3.
Oh shit, dude. I've rolled. So my 3 dice are 5, 4, and 4.
Wow, you fill in 2 attacks.
Everyone can tell. They know you. You are the fucking guy who can't stop feuding. You know selling. It breaks kayfabe into a jillion pieces. You would never no-sell anything in 1,000 years. You're the maddest you've ever been.
Hold on, I actually have to look this. I'm not even going to look this up. They didn't do Stephen King summer in order. They don't know. The Happy Hour Book Club's not out here doing research. So their first episode is on Cujo. No, it's on Christine. It's the first episode is on Christine. And it is immediate, like the way that listeners describe it is uncomfortable. The word you would use is uncomfortable because like you have never heard, like Westeros, the fun one, pipes in with like catty comments about the book, like, well, I didn't see that plot twist coming. Like you have to hear that person on a podcast just be mad,
seething,
like silently mad.
Yes, yes. Because it's. I mean, everyone else is worse too. Because like the
vibe
the pieces,
in the room is in shambles.
Yeah. No one has anything. No one knows what's going on. The energy's wrong. What do I play off of? Wes isn't drinking any of the wine. He's sober.
It's miserable. It is a bad podcast, and it just Wes fully on Twitter acknowledges, like, yeah, I'll be at PodCon. See you there. Like Wes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like, and that's the final like punch in the gut, right? Like Wes can't even fully no sell it because like he just takes the bait immediately.
I love it. Oh my god. So you're attacking now.
I am attacking now. I have to figure out how I'm going to use one of my like I've got 2 resources left and I'm going all in on this fight.
I too have 2 resources left. I'm glad we're using them at the correct
at the right
rate.
clip. I'm going 3 dice on this attack, and I have to decide how I'm going to use one of them. I'm just screaming this. I'm just fully screaming this at you because we are professionals, and this is the kind of thing that this is the kind of thing that Wes would scream as an insult, even as Jeff is like, that's not an insult.
Are we at PodCon?
We are at PodCon.
Okay. Has the opening ceremonies occurred yet? Or
we are mid-opening ceremony.
Oh, perfect.
Because one of my resources that I'm invoking, we are mid-opening ceremony. You are you in the crowd? Are you presenting? Where are you at the opening ceremony? I mean, we're probably just attendees. We're famous, but we're not that. We're
attendees. We're in. So I'm going to say that the opening ceremony is like it's set up like a graduation. Like there's a stage and there's rows. We're all like NPR level podcasters are in the first 5 rows. We're not on stage.
Okay.
I'm going to say we both are third rowers.
Great. I'm not in my seat because you are sitting, you are watching the ceremony, and a drink immediately goes in your face. Drink goes in your face. Somebody is pulling me back. I am scratching at you. I am slapping at you, and I am screaming, "What are you editing in Audacity? You an you are out here on Audacity. You are a fraud. You are a sham artist. Why don't you go back home and play with your ham radio, you child, you hobbyist?" Those are one of them I wrote down was just Audacity. I didn't really know how it was gonna come up.
That's fucking perfect. Spitting out hobbyist with that venom.
I am slapping. I am rolling my 3 dice. I'm gonna turn this into 3 attacks. Let's go.
What are the how are we splitting these, like, narratively? What are the 3 attacks?
I think it is that I am accusing you of being a hobbyist. I am calling your credibility into question. I am embarrassing you by throwing a drink in your face. And also, I am physically slapping at you and scratching at you.
Okay. Perfect.
There are 3 different... There is your reputation, there is your standing at the convention, and your physical safety are in danger right now.
Okay. Excellent. Well, this is perfect because it really lines me up to use one of my resources in response, which is... And I know I said that the Crestwater family was not wealthy. So initially... this resource happened as a child, but I guess I've retconned it. This happened just recently. I hired a butler, and he taught me karate.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I was thinking it would be like a Bruce Wayne situation where, like, Alfred teaches him how to fight from his, like, SAS days. SAS, is that what they say in England?
Yes.
But no, it's just like a year ago, I hired a butler and he was like, "You want to learn karate?" I'm like, "Hell yeah."
That's so much funnier as an adult.
So, like, obviously you've caused a scene. Everyone heard you say that I used Audacity. But as you go to slap me, I am able to, I enter mind without mind, and I move, my body moves like a machine.
You move like
I don't
water,
even know.
sure.
Yeah. And I effortlessly counter your attacks, and I hit you with a palm strike in the chest. Not enough to, like, hurt you, but enough to knock enough wind out of you that you're gonna, like, stop for a moment and, like,
It's really funny.
so that is my defense. That's gonna be 2 dice that I'm gonna roll. Alrighty, what were your totals?
1, 2, and 6.
Are those?
Those are
Well, it doesn't
3
really
separate
matter.
attacks.
1, 2, and 1, 3, and
1, 2, and 6.
Okay, well, I rolled a 3 and a 2, so we're both getting 1 slice.
Okay.
Because I am able to defend myself physically successfully. I am able to defend my honor, I guess. I mean, like, the slur, the slight of hobbyist is forgotten by, like, I just did a badass karate move.
Yeah, now you're the star of the convention because you just did badass. You just palm strike the guy that came at you.
However, I did just get a drink thrown in my fucking face, and I'm really embarrassed about that. I look like an idiot. My suit, my tweed.
Your tweed
It's
suit is
ruined.
ruined.
I look like shit now. And, like, sure, if I explained what happened, anyone would be on my side. But, like, I can't explain to the crowd. They didn't see it all go down. I just look like a fucking idiot now. Okay. And I have a panel in, like, 10 minutes.
I know.
No, wait, no, I'm fighting you in the backyard, the back. That's what I'm doing, because the closing ceremony is about to end. In fact, I'm the attacker now, and this is what we're doing. I say, come... Man, I got to use my last resource.
Yep.
And in order to do it, something real dumb's about to go down.
I'm so excited.
I say, all right, I see you've taken my challenge. Obviously, Mr. Syrah, you know, if you were, in fact, any person of erudition, if you had read the Bard, you would know that the word Syrah, spoken similarly, spelled differently, of course, is used as a diminutive and insulting term for one below the speaker's station, and that is what I am saying to you, sir. I'm saying to you, sirrah, but I'm spelling it in a different way in my head. I say to you that we must go back behind the convention center and settle what must be settled. And there's a gasp as this is happening, and we both go out to the back of the convention center, where I reveal that there are 2 helicopters there. And I say, I challenge you, obviously, to the duel of any true gentleman. Helicopter race. Because I am using my ability, my resource, which is, I have a pilot's license in helicopter.
Great. Great.
And that's my one move, is I'm going to use my 2 dice to do you a helicopter
I have
race.
no resources left. So I think that, like, I am the level of mad where I have accepted that I'm going to challenge you to a helicopter race. Okay. Roll your dice.
I rolled them.
What do you got?
I got a 6 and a 5. I got 11.
You got me. You beat me.
Do you even get in that? Can you start the helicopter?
No. It's embarrassing.
I'm flying like a pro. I'm not like doing tricks. I'm competent. I'm flying like at the speed limit.
Okay, so I failed to block all of your attacks, which means I get to introduce the final mechanic before I become an attacker, which is I get to declare a flashback. Oh, are you at 6?
Pause. I'm at 6.
Oh, fuck yeah. This is the end of the feud.
I mean, let's fucking put a flashback in there.
I gotta have a flash. The flashback is specifically, I think, you know what it is? The flashback that we get is I have paid off a lot of I say paid off. I've paid them in exposure and cameos. A lot. I have hired a number of my fans to be set up in various places around the convention to have my back. Like, I have spent an enormous amount of parasocial capital to turn this convention into a weapon.
Yeah. And in much the way that when I'm feeling low, I'm like, what do you like about anime sickos? Yeah. It's like that times like 10.
100%. It's a lot of like, be really cool if somebody, if you know anyone who is, what is the term for happy hour book club members? They call them the wait staff because that's that.
Oh yeah,
it's like it's vicious and cruel if you think about it for 8 seconds.
And it's not even that clever. It's like kind of fits, but not really.
If anyone on the wait staff knows someone that's working conventions at PodCon, please get in touch. I would be so grateful. I'm having a really tough time and I need to talk to someone about it. And I have arranged, so the flashback is that I have arranged so much of this convention into a weapon to fight you specifically, planning for all of these contingencies, and all of them have been wasted as you have bested me in this moment so thoroughly that I can't come back.
Because, I mean, like, anyone looking can see that one of the helicopters isn't on.
Yeah. That's it.
So
like,
fucking dumb.
And so, like, for the I also get you get a final flashback to show how you've truly defeated me, the final blow. And then, so I think that, like, what we see from my perspective is that, like, for the rest of PodCon, there are just these moments where you'll be, like, getting a hot dog from concessions and someone will, like, look at you funny and then not do anything.
My flashback is going to be before PodCon. I don't know what I'm going to do because I don't know how I know this, but I somehow know it's true, that I can only ever do one karate move, and then it'll be used up, and I won't be able to continue to use karate in an effective way.
Your butler is giving you a lesson. Well, we've learned one move. Next week, maybe we start on a kick.
Yeah, okay, that's better. That's better than me knowing about the mechanics of how resources works in the RPG Rivals. I only know that move. It's the only move I know, and it's only useful as like a counter on an unawares opponent. So I'm just like, what am I going to do? Because what do I know that I can easily beat Wes at in a devastating way? And so what I do is I spend like hours. I'd say almost the whole week leading up to it. I'm taking a break from the silver screen Cinema and Repose because I'm listening to the back catalog of Happy Hour Book Club, and just I know you share so much. You're so fucking free with a quip that I know you're gonna give up some fucking weakness. And it's on an episode about one of my books where in it a helicopter is flown by the main character, because I write what I know because I'm putting very little thought into these pop novels. This is just my paycheck. I'm just like, I fucking flew my helicopter this week, helicopter pilot. And you're going on like, I would never learn how to fly a helicopter. If there's one thing that I'll never know, it's anything about helicopters. I don't even want to get on a helicopter. If I saw a helicopter, I'd be like, never learning about that.
It is one of those segments where like, you've listened to enough of the podcast where you can tell when Wes is like covering up his insecurities, and he's doing the podcaster I don't know how this worked bits, but it's very obvious that like he actually doesn't. So he's like, how does just spinning a blade make a thing go? That doesn't make any sense. Like, where are the jets?
Who invented that? Who thought of that?
That's nonsense.
God, who invented that is the yeah, I love that. Yes, that's what it is. Here's the thing, though. As I listen to this back catalog, I obviously I hate you, but every once in a while you'll talk about like, you know what's great? I'm not much of a movie guy, but you know what's a really great movie? The Thing. Oh man, those practical effects, incredible. When the Thing bit that guy's arms off with the guy's ribcage, oh man, I can hardly think of a better film. And I dropped my pen. I'm taking notes on your weaknesses, and I'm like, in another life, we could have been friends. And that's all I got.
That's great. And I am left sitting in a helicopter. The video, like the TikTok videos that you see of this are just like me sitting in the cockpit of a helicopter, not looking at anybody, doing the like, I'm so mad that like I'm just gonna pretend that I'm not being filmed by a bunch of people at PodCon. Sitting arms crossed.
Oh
God,
Jesus Christ.
What a game.
I wish that, this is an easily solved problem. But I wish there were more segments. I'm pissed that it ended where it did. But I did have 6 fucking slices.
Oh God, this game ruled. We can always just do more, even whether these characters are other weird rivalries. Like, this does not have to be a one-off.
Yeah, I'll be back.
I'm glad. Yes, we will be back with this because this was so much fun. Tom, thank you so much for joining me. This was a fucking hoot.
Hell yeah, thank you for having me, Jeff Stormer of the Party of One podcast. It was as fun as I hoped, which was extremely.
I feel the same way. So real quick, before we wrap up, where can people find you and your work online?
Yeah, as you mentioned, we are in a time warp episode now, so the state of social media is going to be, fucking knows?
Nobody fucking knows.
I am on Twitter at Tom Harrison19. I'm on Blue Sky, Tom Harrison, and then all that fucking shit.
Just Tom Harrison. Just search you don't need to search the rest of that.
Yeah, I don't get how that works.
I don't,
and I don't care to learn.
I get you. Same.
I will not be joining Threads if that's still around. Anime Sickos is on Twitter at Anime Sickos. It is also on Blue Sky at Anime Sickos. I did a Tumblr because I'm covering my bases, I guess. Tumblr.com/anime. Sorry, Tumblr.com/Anime Sickos. I don't know if I'm gonna do anything on that one. I don't know. Just subscribe. We have a Discord. Go on Discord. You know how there's a search now? Mm-hmm. Search Anime Sickos. You'll find the Anime Sickos server. I don't. Whatever. That's good. It's
where podcasts are.
Yeah. So that's all that. Do that. Yeah.
Well, thank you again for doing the show. This was incredible. And now I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show. Take a future me. Thanks, past me. And thanks again to Tom for coming on to the show. That game... Tom, how are you so funny? Like, how is that game... I've been laughing at this game for months now. I gave it to Jen to edit, and she spent the whole time laughing and walked up to me after and was like, Jeff, that episode was really funny. And like, I am so happy that we got to play this game, tell this ridiculous story, live in this space for a while. I am just truly over the moon. Anyway, be sure to check the show notes for your own copy of Rivals. Be sure to check the show notes and go listen to Anime Sickos Podcast and Sicko Shock 2. And, of course, as long as Twitter continues to be a thing, you can find Tom on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Then while you're on Twitter, follow us at Party of One Pod. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Party of One Podcast. Find us on TikTok at Party of One Podcast. Find us on Tumblr at Party of One Pod. Subscribe to our newsletter at buttondown.email/Party of One Podcast. And join our Discord community at bit.ly/Party of One Discord. If you enjoy the show, there's a lot of ways to support it. You can support us financially at patreon.com/JeffStormer or ko-fi.com/JeffStormer. You can give us a nice iTunes review, shout us out to a friend, give us some love on social media. You can buy some Party of One merch at bit.ly/Party of One merch. Or, if you're looking for more great podcast content, you can check out All My Fantasy Children, which is a character creation, storytelling, and world-building podcast that I make with my best friend in the world, Aaron Catano Saez. We take a listener-submitted prompt and spin it into an original fantasy character, populating a shared universe one story at a time. You can also check out Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast, which is an actual play about a heartless witch, a cozy house, and the many people making their homes inside. Both of those you can find wherever you get your podcasts. Party of One is, as always, produced and edited by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. Music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Mega Ran featuring the D&D Sluggers, and the Party of One logo is by Evan Rowland. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates, coming on the show as a guest, or about press coverage of the show, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And unless I am mistaken, that is all we do here. So until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance. And as always, party on, everybody.